You are a spiritual being in physical form, a dichotomy of light and dark, where energy equals mass on a journey designed to fulfill our personal legend and purpose, to use humanity throughout, to amplify and transcend, slay the ego, raise the humanity. That's a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the High Vibe Zone. Hey y'all, hey. What up, LinkedIn? What up, YouTube? High Vibe Zone. We're doing this today. Oh man. So normally my first Wednesday of the new month, welcome to November. Normally I have my partner in collaboration, Tony Taylor, but I just want to send him light and love right now because it wasn't in the alignment for us to connect today on the High Vibe Zone. So I'm going to just do this one solo. And for y'all that have followed the High Vibe Zone for a while, thank you so much. Welcome back. For those that are new to the High Vibe Zone and just catching this for the first time, welcome. Love to know where you're coming from, what you're grateful for. Drop that gratitude along with your name. It's nice to meet new folks. I haven't done the High Vibe Zone in a while. I guess, has been like 2 or 3 weeks. I think it has been. I've gone live in between them, but I have not done the High Vibe Zone, and I want to talk to y'all a little bit about why. I think it's a great entry to this season of change. So I'm going to start with something that I haven't done in a while because I haven't been able to find them, which are the encouraging cards. They always have a word that flows into what we are talking about. So I don't have the full deck, but I have something. So we're just going to roll with this something. So encouraging card of the day. I'm going to talk a little bit about it with y'all. And then we're going to dive into the hardest question to answer. And I got a little story for you. And I have no idea where this is going to go. We'll get there when we get there. But let's go ahead and dive into this card. Just going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Okay. So let's see what card we get. I feel like the last time I did this, I was in a different location, the encouraging cards, and I moved my location and lost a little bit of the cards. So we'll see what we get. All right. Pulling. Go everywhere. I don't know what this means. Go everywhere. Does that mean physically? Does that mean spiritually? Does that mean emotionally? Or maybe it means to take yourself everywhere you go. As in, whenever you go somewhere, there should be no part of yourself that's left behind. So go everywhere. So as Sharice in this physical body, I go everywhere. I go and show up for my partner, for my clients, for my family, for myself. Go everywhere. Take everything with you. I don't know. Maybe that's what this means. Maybe we'll come up later as we talk because I have no idea. I'm a little bit stumped, but go everywhere. That's a very interesting card to see. Okay, we're just going to let that card sit for a moment. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the hardest question. Let me get this prompted up here real quick. The hardest question. Ready? Hardest question to answer. probably the easiest question to ask. How are you doing? That is the hardest question to answer. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why. I mean, if you've heard me speak for a while, you know that I talk about how life is not linear, it's lunar, like the phases of the moon. And at least in this society, and I have a story to kind of go with this, in this society, in our American culture, we ask how you are doing very frequently, almost uh, automatically. And the response that we're looking for is usually good or fine or okay or mm-hmm. But what if you are the person that is receiving the question and you're not good and you're not fine and it's not okay? And you haven't really thought about how you were doing until that question came up. How do you respond? Is the person asking, holding that space? I find this to be the hardest question. And personally, over the last couple weeks, why I haven't been on live is I've been going through some stuff, y'all. Like, I think it's on all levels: physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically. Physically, I had a really bad allergic reaction to something, broke out in hives, have never experienced hives before in my life. I mean, if you've never had hives before, it's not a really good feeling. I mean, it was all over the top part of my body, my face, my neck, my chest, my arms, my back. It was not a good experience. It didn't make me feel good either. And so trying to recover from that was really challenging and do the things that I was doing. So there was some very interesting moments. So I've been avoiding live mainly because my face was not okay. It's gotten better. It's getting better. I am getting better. And so when people would ask me how I'm doing, I mean, I started answering, I'm indifferent, and people didn't know how to respond to that, or I didn't know what to say. Like, I'm not doing well in this moment. How do I answer that question? And when people ask that question, it's almost like a program that we run. Um, my mom, I think, called it nicely's. All that, the nicely things that we do to connect with someone. But that question, how you're doing, is a really deep question because you have to think about, in this moment, how am I doing? And what if I'm not doing well? Do I lie? Do I say everything's great? Thus pondering even deeper why things are not great? Or do you tell the truth and create a disconnect of space, which also is called an awkward moment, or disconnect in uh, vibration or frequency, which is an awkward moment? So over the last couple of weeks, I've been reflecting on that question, how are you doing? And being very open with, I'm not energetically well right now. And it's okay. But what is a better question? So let me tell you what um this let me find this story first of all. Let me find this story really quick. I'm going to read it verbatim. I believe I've shared it here on LinkedIn. Hey Deb, what up? Welcome to the High Vibe Zone. Yes. We as humans, we should be able to answer this question truthfully. But most of us do not. And I think it's because we are being asked unauthentically or with no real intent or integrity behind the question. Let me find this story real quick for y'all. One of my favorite stories, and it's actually changed how I've interacted with the conversation of how are you doing? And I use this a lot with our tribe. And it's because the thing is, once I finish this live and kind of share like, oh, finding another way to say how you're doing. In fact, I did a video about this, and I said instead of asking someone how they're doing, just when you pass them, say, I hope you have a nice day. But what if you genuinely want to know how somebody is doing? And this is a great story. So let me almost got it. Oh, okay. So I can't pronounce, I'm not even going to try and pronounce this in Korean, but there's this word in Korean that means, have you eaten rice? And the origin of this idiom is somewhat literal. After the Korean War, when Korea was the poorest country in the world, people would ask each other, have you eaten rice? And meant it. The question was meant to ensure you were well. Have you eaten? Are you okay? Can I help? Over time, like things, the phrase changed. Now, the literal phrase asks an emotional question. You know how hard it can be to answer a simple question? How are you doing? How are you? Good, fine, even in fact, when you are not good at all. In some ways, the Korean version of this common greeting solidified what was missing in its English counterpart. To be good, to be fine, you have to be well fed, sustained, have eaten rice, or whatever it is in your own life that gives you nourishment. So, the big thing here is, have you eaten rice? That's the question that should be asked. And in fact, the answer is very simple. It's either yes, I've eaten rice, no, I haven't eaten rice. And we go from there. So that's the question that I ask a lot of my tribe. Like, I try and replace how are you doing with have you eaten rice? Or when I do ask how are you doing, I actually mean it and hold the space for that. But when you're passing someone, when you're just kind of getting on a Zoom, how are you doing? It's like, let's not start that space. It's like, I hope you're having a great day. I hope your week is well. Send them a blessing, because you have no idea what people are going through on different days. And I will link the video I made to how are you doing in the comments of this live, so you can watch that. But the hardest question to answer is how you doing, especially with different things that are going on in life. Yes, excited that you are here with me live. Deb, it's amazing. This is even better. An open-ended question that I get from Nigerian friends as a greeting. What did you have for breakfast? So I think there's a trend here, Deb. Thank you so much for that. Because the deeper we go culturally, the more meaningful questions are asked. I feel like the more we get away from culture, the more superficial things become. Because if you look at a culture, Nigerian culture is rich and deep in not only culture, history, lineage, tradition. But yeah, when they ask you a question, it's meant as, I see you. Are you well? Have you eaten rice? And it's such a great space holder to start the conversation for someone that may not have had eaten rice, and something they can, oh, I haven't eaten rice. I haven't nourished myself in the ways that I wish to be nourished. Let me go do that. But where do you go from how are you doing? Where do you take it from there? So just one of those things I wanted to start off with. And in truth, we don't have, I say this a lot to different people that I talk about, but when we operate from this question of how we're doing and we don't really have the space to hold what response is coming from, or we expect the person to say, I'm fine, I'm good, that's a condition of programming. We're programmed to ask this question without really realizing the logic and the reason behind us asking that question. I had a friend share with me the other day that they were at work and someone asked them how they were doing, and they said, I'm doing horrible. And the person said, that's good. I'm fine. Like just responding or reacting in responses. So over these last 2 weeks that have been interesting in so many different ways, I wanted to start this conversation of just thinking about, especially as we go into the holidays. I have no idea what this season does to us energetically, but I've also noticed that the holidays bring up a lot of different things for people. So instead of asking someone how they're doing, just send them a blessing of, I hope you're doing well. I hope you have a great day. Something that simple just changes the vibe a bit. And if they're not doing well, you've just given them a blessing. And most of the time, people will respond back, I hope you do too. So then you receive it back. So just thinking about that question, how are you doing, and why you were asking that, and where did that come from, and what space are you creating to receive the answers? Just giving that pause makes a whole lot of difference. And I'll also post a story of have you eaten rice in the comments as well, so y'all can see it. It's a great alternative to how are you doing. Okay. So I've done an encouraging card. I've talked about the hardest question to answer. I have one other story before I leave y'all today. I'm going to keep this short and sweet again, just kind of getting back into this. So this story prompted a post, or prompted me to write. Now, I don't know if I'll make this an official post, but I'll just tell y'all live what it was, and maybe I'll post it later or something, or turn it into an article. But I'm a part of a group of community friends that we plan different events for our neighborhood. And I have this really good friend. He is compassionate and known for his candor, which is great. And so I'm letting the group know, hey, like I've been going through some stuff. I'm not 100% well, but I'm here to show up and do what I can, and just letting people know, like just being truthful, as Deb pointed out. And I show up to this event, and prior to me showing up, I did my best to look decent. So this is amongst the time of the hives and just different life stuff that's happening. Compounding life is, or just the season of whatever I was in. I have really no idea what was going on. I show up, and the first thing that my friend says to me is, you look like shit. And I was not necessarily taken back by the comment, but more so how accurate it was to how I was feeling. And in truth, none of my friends in that group have ever seen me look like that. I mean, I did my best, y'all, to, show up decent. I showered, all that kind of stuff, but still looking like shit. And I thought about how many times, or how many instances do people that know us or see us get to see us going through something, because I was going through something. And this standard of perfection or normality tends to override actual life. And how you just never know what somebody is going through. And sometimes the people will do their best to look as pristine as put together, as proper as possible, and broken and broken and broken and broken and broken. And we tend to think that the people that might not be put together are the ones that are broken and down. And it reminds me of a Bob Marley song. Even if we lived in a one room like shack and still experiencing happiness. Some of the most damaged moments in life seem to be perfectly stitched together. The house pristine, the cars, the title. And in truth, we spend more energy trying to not look like shit when we're going through some stuff to uphold a perception of society that's comfortable for them. And in that moment, I didn't care. I didn't wallow. It wasn't like I was like, oh, this is where I am. I'm not that type of person. But I'm also not the type of person to pretend that everything is good. Or I don't like to be that type of person. It doesn't feel right. It goes back to the question, how are you doing? And if you can't be honest in your space, then there's something to evaluate there. So did I look like shit? Yes. Did I feel like it? Absolutely. Is there anything wrong with that? No. It's okay not to be okay. And the more that conversation is had amongst leaders, showing your people, you are not okay right now. This is a journey of leadership. Create space for grace and compassion. I had to break it to my tribe. I was not okay. And they held the space. And we talked about the space. And they'll get to see me navigate as a leader. The best part about what has happened over the last few weeks, at least for myself, and I've gone through different ebbs and flows. The best part about it is I've maintained my kindness to others. I mean, you think about somebody cuts you off on the road and you just have a bad day for the rest of your day and you just kind of everything levels from there. This was a lot different. And I was still kind to my kids. I still held space for my husband. There was nothing that changed from how I treated someone, because it goes back to something. I don't know if I shared this with y'all, but like, I think I talked about it maybe a few weeks ago. If you squeeze an orange, what comes out of that orange? Orange juice. Does apple juice come out of the orange? No. Mango juice, maybe? No. Orange juice. Why? It's not a trick question. Why? Because that's what's inside. So whenever there's pressure on you, on me, on someone, whatever happens in that moment, whatever comes out is what's inside. And there's really no masking that. It's not really something that you can cover up for a long time or convince others, I just squeezed out orange juice, this is apple juice. And it does not matter who squeezes the orange, because it's what's inside that comes out. And so for me, it was a big test, because there was a point where if you put pressure on me, if I was in this maybe similar position 6-7 years ago, I mean, it would have, I don't think I'd be able to treat anyone kind or hold space for anyone. I would just go into this spiral. And when I came out, I would, apologize or whatever. I guess the best feeling is not needing to apologize for behavior that did not hurt someone else in the midst of me going through what I was going through. Oh, you bring up a good point here. I have never been as free as I have been in the last 6 months of homelessness. Living beyond social constraints has brought me daily bliss, even as I face daily survival. Where's my fire emoji? Because there's something to be said about this. There it is. Fire emoji. Thank you for that, Deb. Often, or just there had been a thought in my mind that I wish I could go back to being homeless and not having to deal with these things. There is a social freeness that comes with not holding expectations. But that's a whole nother conversation that we should definitely have in the high vibe zone. So, in short, I haven't been doing the high vibe zone because I had not been feeling high vibe. Am I getting better? Absolutely. And I felt that I was in a better energetic space to show up and just share this message with y'all. Whoever is listening, Deb, you are listening. You are one amazing human. Doesn't matter how many people are listening. The fact that one human hears it is enough. Or even if no human hears it, it's still enough. It just is. So, as I go back to this card, go everywhere. Go everywhere. Because the spiritual being that has inhabited this physical human body came to have experiences and abundance and prosperity in high season, in low season, in mid season. And so go everywhere. What I am experiencing, what I experienced is a season that is taking me to different places, thus going everywhere. Sierra, what up? What up? Welcome in the high vibe zone. Hello, back to you. It's good to know that you're here. So go everywhere. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it doesn't feel good in that moment, know that there is a grander, I'm not going to say a grander plan. That's what I wanted to say. More of a grander meaning to the moments that you are experiencing. And it is not for you to dissect and analyze. It is for you to surrender in those moments and to go as general as you possibly can to nurture the being in which you are and to find that path of least resistance. And sometimes it's crying. Sometimes it's taking a nap. Sometimes it's like, I cannot do it all and just release. I often wonder where these pressures come from the outside, from the inside. I doubt it comes from the inside because our inner being is perfect and knows no detachment, knows no ego, only knows love and light. And so it must come from the outside. So curating, I guess, what you're consuming from the outside as what success is, what the standard is helpful. So I just wanted to share with y'all. And I do hope to pick up this regular cadence in the high vibe zone. But I was just going through some stuff, y'all. And I just wanted to share this space with you. No matter what form it takes. And if you are going through something right now, if you are going through life, again, a linear life is not what we got going on here. Going through some lunar shit is making you look like shit or feel like shit. I just want to offer you an abundance and prosperity and in an amount, universal amount of light and love for what you're going through. You will not come out void from whatever you're dealing with. And I don't need to know the specifics. if you want to talk about what you're going through. You need space being held for you. Y'all know where to find me. I'm here. I don't know what else to say. I guess that's pretty much it. There's a lot of reflecting and a lot of respect for this thing called life. And if, like I said, if you're all going through something, just know you are being held by your inner being. There is something, your future self, your higher self is calling you in a way that is going to lead you to that next level. You will get through this. But when you're in it, sometimes you don't need to get through it. Sometimes you just need to sit in it. Yes, our inner being is perfect. Yes. Thank you for echoing that. All right, y'all. So I want to thank you for being here with me in the High Vibe Zone, whether you're live or watching recorded. Again, I'll drop some links in the chat after this. But I just want to thank you so much and send you off with a blessing of light, love, and gratitude. Thank you for being here with me in the High Vibe Zone. I'm Sharice Fonz, and I hope you have a great day. You are a spiritual being in physical form, a dichotomy of light and dark, where energy equals mass on a journey designed to fulfill our personal legend and purpose, to use humanity throughout, to amplify and transcend, slay the ego, raise the humanity. That's a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the High Vibe Zone.